I'm Vanessa Hughes, and this is Back to School Night. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Back to School Night. My name is Vanessa Hughes, and to keep things simple, I'm going to separate this video into 3 different parts. Feel free to skip any of them as it's appropriate for you. The first part is how you, parents, family members, and supporters can actually get connected into the Canvas course. So how you can become an observer in your student's class and why that might be important. Second part, if you're already in Canvas, is going to walk you through for each of the different courses what it looks like for the students and how to access the materials. And then the last part is going to be more conversational about the class itself, what to expect, and then a little bit about me, the teacher. Okay, this portion I'm going to help you parents get connected as observers to your students' courses. And why that's important. Unlike Google Classroom, Canvas allows you to actually be a participant in the class. It's what's called an observer, and once your student has a Canvas account and is registered in those courses, you can be an observer in all of their classes, which gives you access to the modules and assignments. You can see the syllabus, you can see due dates, you can get into the calendar. So you can help your student and support them not only navigating Canvas, but also kind of keeping up to date with what your student is studying. So I'm going to minimize me and walk you through that. So this is the document that I'm going to be referring to. And unfortunately, because I cannot see what a student sees in terms of their own profile, I only have test student cases, I can't demonstrate it for you in Canvas. But what I can do is describe the process, and then you can pause this video, maybe open up a new tab and go through it with your student. So the very first thing that has to happen is your student needs a Canvas account, and then they log in. And once they've logged in, they can then create an observer. So here's the process. Student logs in to password. You click on Account, which is in the top left-hand side of your dashboard. You click on Settings, which is here. And then on the bottom right, you'll see something called Pair with Observer. Pair with Observer. And when you click on that, this dialog box will come up, which gives you a code. Okay, so you get 7 days for the one use of the code. Write the code down, or you can copy it. Open up a new tab. And this is where you, parents, can create an account for Canvas. So in a web browser, open up a new tab and you go to lms.pps.net, lms.pps.net. You're going to click on the parent of a Canvas user, and then you're going to create a password, your username and password. Once you've done that, you're going to sign up. And down here is where you add the pairing code that you were just given, right up here, and start participating. You then have your own access to Canvas. You can log in and you can see all of the courses that your student has been registered for. This is the portion of our video, our Back to School Night, where I'm going to talk about how to use the Canvas course and how to navigate it. I'm going to use just one of my courses, and I'm going to demonstrate with my beginning photography class, which is called Foundations of Photography. But effectively, whether you're taking my English class or any of the 3 levels of the digital media class, it's going to function the same way because I'm using Canvas consistently in the way that you navigate. So let me make myself small. I'm going to put myself out of the way here. So at the moment, I'm in what's called the student view. So this is what your student, or you, if you're a parent observer, will see when you click into one of the Canvas classes. And this is the home page. So this is my beginning photography class. And on the home page for all my classes, you will have a link where you can connect for our synchronous live teaching. And I'm using Zoom this year. So there are 4 class periods. I have 4 sections of my photography class. And you'd simply open up one of these links, or sorry, one of these pages to link here and get connected to the Zoom meeting. So once again, that is on the home page, and you'll find a link to our Zoom links, and Zoom is the platform where I'm doing our live teaching. So for the observers, you also have access to those Zoom links, and if you have the time, you're very welcome to be in any of our meetings. I need you to identify yourself in those meetings if you wouldn't mind. This is the bell schedule, so by now we all kind of understand the synchronous versus asynchronous. Talks about how I'm going to take attendance. The most important thing for my students is to spend time, those 75 precious minutes every week where we get to spend some time together. We're going to be doing direct instruction with the classes, as well as looking at our work and sharing our work with one another. And then on each of the classes, on each of the courses, along the left-hand side, you'll see something that says syllabus, and that's going to connect you with the document for that class, for the syllabus for whatever the course is, whether it's Sophomore English or in this case the beginning photography class. And I won't go through that with you at this point, because in the next part of our video, and you can skip ahead to that, I'm going to talk specifically about each of the classes and tell you a little bit about me and my expectations for your students thriving in these classes. So once again, this is Canvas. There's a syllabus page. So I noticed that there's something called announcements. That's fairly self-explanatory. So the most recent announcement is going to be posted at the top. The most recent announcement comes on top. And for this particular class, our next project, so there's a bit of a heads up of what's coming next. Modules is a new word. So Canvas is unlike Google Classroom. It wasn't named this way. And I want you to think about modules as projects or kind of umbrella projects. So if I click on modules, I'm going to see something like this, which has each of the projects that you'll be working on. So the very first photography assignment for this course was the basic shooting assignment. The next project is going to be still life. Really, and this is kind of catching me out, I'm going to arrange them actually so that the most recent assignment is on top, and so I'll be making those changes. And if I click on the arrow next to any of these modules, you'll get maybe one or several pages that will give you further instruction. So if I'm clicking on the basic shooting assignment, for example, you'll get to another page, I know it's a lot of clicking, where it describes the assignment. There's instructions, and so there's links to Google Docs that give you the instructions, how you're going to be graded. There's an example, so something that a student produced, so the kids can get an idea of what to produce. And then a tutorial on how to submit that slideshow. So once I'm done, how do I actually get credit for it? How does Ms. Hughes grade it? How can I submit that to Canvas? So once again, modules is listed by umbrella or project. So think about a module as the project, and then think about all of the pages underneath that, or all of the subheadings as various parts of that project. Sometimes it's going to be an assignment. Sometimes it will be a piece of media or a video to watch. Sometimes it's going to be a link to outside sources. Sometimes it will be a little video instruction that I'm doing asynchronously. So these are the pages mainly that you want to pay attention to. Modules and assignments, discussions. Obviously, we're having asynchronous online conversations with each other. And then if you want, one of the things I do understand that Canvas does not allow you to do is, how do I know when I've submitted something successfully? So I click the submit button, and then it just goes into, it goes into the etherland. If you click on grades, you will see, and granted this is a test student, but you're going to see which of the assignments you have submitted and what your score is out of the total possible points. So if you have submitted something successfully, you won't get the missing symbol here. And remember, this is a test student, okay? That's under grades. You'll see whether you have submitted something successfully and whether it has been graded. And if so, what is your score? Well, that's kind of the general overview of Canvas. I want to point out, I'm going to move my little photo over here, to your course calendar. So if you click on the calendar, you should see assignments and due dates for all of your classes. Right now, I'm logged in as a test student in this Foundations of Photography class, so my calendar is only going to show things that are for this particular course. But as a student user, your calendar is going to get populated with the due dates for all of the assignments for all of your classes. And this is kind of an exciting tool because unlike Google Classroom, where you had to click into each different classroom to find out your assignments and due dates, and then maybe manage your own calendar outside of Classroom, Canvas has a tool here. When teachers put in specific due dates, it's going to populate your calendar with those due dates. So notice under calendars, the only one that I have green here is Foundations of Photography because that's my test case. But for you as a student or an observer parent, you should see all of your courses under the calendar. So again, if I go back to my course as my test student, in the top right hand of my screen, of my dashboard, you should see your course calendar. So that's a general and brief overview of Canvas and how to use it. Once again, even though I've demonstrated with my beginning photography class, this is kind of how I use it, not kind of. This is how I use it for all of my courses. So my sophomore English class, my beginning of photography class, my intermediate and advanced levels of digital media. Mostly you're paying attention to announcements, modules, and assignments, and then grades to see whether you have been successful in submitting. Welcome to Sophomore English. This is the second year of the 4 years of high school English, and I'm going to talk specifically about our class. So in the sophomore year of English, students will practice reading, writing, listening, speaking, and most importantly, critical thinking. So in a global level, the essential questions that we're going to ask this year are, in what ways does language shape our perception of things? In what ways are we impacted by media, and how do we as media makers influence others? What is social justice? And those big essential questions will inform the work that we do with each of the novels. So our year will be spent reading specific novels, looking at those novels in context, writing about the novels, exploring the history of the novelist, of the time period in which the novel is set, and then asking questions about language. The big picture items for a sophomore year are to improve one's confidence with using language to express one's ideas. So another question to ask is, how confident do I feel in my ability to read, speak, and write using language? And we're going to look at the differences between casual or informal English language and the formal academic language skills. This is also the year that we prepare for the junior year of English, whether that is the IB Language and Literature class or the IB Literature HL class. And both of those require that students really understand how the meaning is shaped by the storyteller. And the storyteller, in this case, the artist, is the author. So what are the tools that are available to a writer to grab our attention, to make us enjoy a passage, to see the street at night, to feel the emotions of the characters when all they have are effectively words on the page, words and punctuation. So in what ways Can we identify the tools of the artist, and in this case it's the writer, to influence me as the receiver of their stories, and then translating that understanding into our own writing. So from a creative writing perspective, how am I using the tools of the trade? From a formal academic, expository or analysis type of writing, how am I using the format and the stylistic tools of that particular format to get my ideas across. So we have, unfortunately this year, we only have 75 minutes a week. It's really important that students attend our class, and for me it's Monday morning, first thing at 9:15, first period, Sophomore English. We will also exchange with one another our work. So I'm going to, as we practice navigating how to create community online, we'll get into small breakout groups. We'll share our writing and our thinking. We will also offer critique in the form of celebrations and considerations for the other students in the class. So that's really the goal of Sophomore English. And hopefully to have fun and read some things that challenges their thinking a little bit, challenges perhaps the level at which they're reading or writing, and move ourselves in the direction of really understanding that language is a form of art like any other, and we can manipulate it and therefore manipulate our audience who's reading our writing, and what are the tools of the trade. So looking at literature and writing as an art form. And then a little bit about me. So as you know, I've said many times in this presentation, my name is Vanessa Hughes. This is my 16th year of teaching at the secondary level. Believe it or not, 15 of those have been at Cleveland High School. I have taught every level of English, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, in the what used to be called the regular junior English, as well as the IB literature classes. I've also taught the theory of knowledge class, which is just an amazing class. How do we know what we know? I wish everybody could take that. I also wish everyone could teach that class. It's just amazing. And then I also participate as an advisor for the extended essay. I'm also a teacher in the digital media program. So prior to teaching, a long time ago, I was a documentary filmmaker and I worked in commercial media. And about 11 years ago, started the digital media program here at Cleveland. We now have a very robust program with beginning, intermediate, and advanced levels. We work with professionals, so here's a kind of shameless plug and shout out for any of my parents, family members, relatives who are working in or know people who are working in the digital media community. Please get in touch with me, as I'd like to connect you with our students. So that's a little bit about me. Thanks for bearing with me on this really odd and impersonal back-to-school night, but at least you've been able to sit in the comfort of your own home and hopefully parse it out a little bit. I hope you stay well and manage to get off the screens at some point. Take care.